30-second countdown. Hey everybody, welcome. Dr. G. And we are going to do the show we usually do on Monday nights at 9. It's called The Wellness Revolution with Dr. Robert Wiedemann. And right now, you're going to be seeing this show in its entirety. And Dr. Wiedemann is going to take you through the parasite information. All information is for entertainment purposes only, but it also may not be. Use your own discretion. Welcome, Doc.
Good evening.
How are you tonight?
A lot of people have requested information on parasites, and so we're going to try to cover that this evening and see how we can help people with parasites. Okay, so just got to bring my notes up here. All righty. There we go. Okay, we want to cover the most common parasites that infect humans. And, it's going to be an overview of intestinal, blood, and skin parasites by the Wellness Revolution here. Parasites are organisms that live on or in a host, often causing harm. And the most common types are intestinal parasites, blood and tissue parasites, and skin and surface parasites. And the first one we want to cover is giardia. Now let's see if we can bring a picture up of giardia, what it looks like.
I got that one right there, Doc.
There you go. And this is what, when you're hiking in the mountains, I lived in Montana for 15 years and went hiking very often. And you had to be very careful. You had to bring things along to purify your water. I had a pump that I could pump things right out of the stream and I could just drink it right away. And it would filter out all these little beasties. If you did not do this, you could get very sick. And so let me cover some things about giardia here. It's found in contaminated water, lakes, and so forth. The symptoms are diarrhea, gas, bloating, greasy stools, known as beaver fever. And this is what giardia parasite looks like under my microscope. And believe me, it can make you very, very sick. I mean, we're talking about, symptoms of nausea, throwing up, things like that. So you have to be very careful when you're hiking out in the mountains, not to drink the water without proper hygiene, proper taking care of the water. You want to boil the water or things like that. What can you do once you get it? Well, that's a good question. Let's see here. I had a little more information on that here. Just a minute. Let's see here. Just to ask, have you ever gone hiking or in the wilderness around where you are?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was with the Boy Scouts, and I used to go with my uncles and aunts. We used to go to the campgrounds. We used to go walking through the hills, the mountains, the areas. Yeah, I did it with my wife too before we were married. I haven't been in a while, but I used to go all the time.
Did you ever Did you ever try to drink out of a stream?
As a Boy Scout, I had.
Did you ever get sick after doing that?
I never did, but a lot of my friends did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a protozoan parasite that causes giardiasis, common intestinal infection that's transmitted through fecal to oral route. That means all these little animals swimming in those streams were infecting it, with their bottoms, meaning it is spread from someone who ingests water, food, or comes in contact with surfaces contaminated with giardia cysts. Giardiasis is one of the most frequent causes of waterborne disease worldwide, and it can affect humans and animals. The life cycle of Giardia lambia includes two primary stages: the cyst, which is the infective form, and the trophozoite, the active disease-causing form. In the cyst stage, it's where you get infected. The cyst is a dormant, infective stage of the Giardia, and they're resistant to environmental conditions and can survive for weeks to months in contaminated water, soil, and on surfaces. Cysts are excreted in the feces of infected individuals or animals and contaminate food, water, or supplies. Humans become infected by ingesting cysts, typically through drinking untreated or unfiltered water. When a person ingests water or food contaminated with Giardia cysts, the cysts pass through the stomach, reach the small intestines, where they undergo excistation, the process in which the cyst breaks open and releases the parasite. The trophozoite stage, which is the active form, after excistation, the released Giardia trophozoites become active and multiply in the small intestine. Trophozoites are pear-shaped, flagellated organisms that attach to the lining of the small intestine using ventral adhesive discs. The trophozoites feed on intestinal contents and can cause inflammation and disruption of the intestinal lining, leading to symptoms of giardiasis. Some of the trophozoites insist as they move into the colon, forming cysts that are excreted in the feces of the host. These newly formed cysts are infective and can contaminate the environment, beginning the cycle again. So it is primarily transmitted through the fecal to oral route, meaning that the infection is spread when an individual consumes cysts from contaminated food, water, surfaces. Key transmission vectors include contaminated water, person-to-person transmission. It could also be if you're, doing poor hygiene, not washing your hands after going to the toilet, it can spread the infection. And contaminated food. Eating raw or undercooked food, especially in fruits and vegetables washed in contaminated water, can lead to giardia infection, which spoils the picnic, doesn't it? Infected animals, especially pets and livestock, can shed giardia cysts in their feces. Humans can become infected if they come into contact with contaminated animal feces, surfaces, or soil, and that's probably the most common vector when you're hiking outdoors and so forth. So you want to make sure that you have something with you to treat your water, either some pills to put in the water or boiling the water will work. Okay, the acute symptoms: diarrhea, abdominal cramps, bloating, nausea, and fatigue. Chronic symptoms: if you end up with a chronic situation like that, persistent diarrhea, malabsorption of nutrients, lactose intolerance, dehydration. Prolonged diarrhea and vomiting can lead to dehydration, which may cause dry mouth, dizziness, and dark-colored urine. And the potential complications if you don't treat it properly, is can lead to chronic gastrointestinal issues such as irritable bowel syndrome or persistent malabsorption of nutrients. And the diagnosis would be done with a stool sample or antigen testing, or PCR, polymer chain reaction testing can detect giardia DNA in stool samples, which is a more sensitive and accurate method, although it's not commonly used in routine clinical practices. Treatment, there's different medications they can give you for it. The longevity approach is basically supporting and promoting your body's ability to heal itself with the 90 essential nutrients, 60 minerals, plant-derived minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 essential amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids, digestive support with magnesium or potassium, and detoxifying healing. Vitamin A and vitamin C in the protocols will help that. Ultimate 4FX helps. That restores the gut microbiome, boosts immunity, and promotes digestive balance. Fucoid Z, that would be like the Z radical. That's one of my favorite. It's a supplement made from fucoidin. It's a compound extracted from brown seaweed, which has an anti-inflammatory and immune-boosting properties. How it helps? It supports the immune health. It reduces inflammation and has antioxidant support, which supports and promotes the body's ability to heal itself. And then you have Ultimate Cleanse, which is a product for a comprehensive detox. It supports the body's natural detoxification systems, including the liver, kidneys, and intestines. How it helps? It supports detoxification. After a parasitic infection, your body needs to clear out toxins and waste. Ultimate Cleanse helps to detoxify the intestines and promote healthy digestion. It cleanses the digestive tract by promoting bowel regularity, supporting liver function. This supplement helps flush out any remaining pathogens or toxins from the body, and it reduces bloating. Omega-3 fish oil. Now, the essential fatty acids from longevity are fish oil from the North Sea around Norway. And they've been tested to make sure there's no radiation or mercury in them. And it reduces inflammation, manages the inflammation in the digestive tract, called giardiasis. Now, the essential fatty acids are extremely important in promoting the cell wall, because the cell wall is largely made of essential fatty acids. And the omega-3 and 6 fatty acids are for general well-being, including cardiovascular health and cognitive function, and they support immune health. Okay. And the minerals, taking the minerals is a supplement that provides essential minerals like calcium, magnesium, zinc, and it's more than that. It's all 60 essential minerals, and we actually have in our website, we actually have a full listing of all the minerals, okay, which boost the immune system and promotes overall well-being. And then there's Sweeties. Sweeties is a supplement designed to support and promote healthy blood sugar levels. And how it helps is regulates blood sugar. Maintaining healthy blood sugar levels can reduce the stress with the body and aids recovery from giardiasis. Promotes blood sugar regulation, helps provide consistent energy levels, which may be beneficial during the recovery phase. And talks about the tangy tangerine, powerful multivitamin mineral supplement that contains a broad spectrum of essential nutrients for immune support, promotes recovery and digestive health. The general protocol for giardiasis recovery using longevity products start with foundational nutrient supplement with the tangy tangerine or the ultimate classic, and you add gut health support like Ultimate Flora FX, add immune boosting anti-inflammatory support. Take the either the Fucoid Z or the Z radical and the ultimate uh, essential fatty acids. Support detoxification health with the ultimate cleanse and using the minerals and blood sugar boost energy with the sweeties. While prescription medications like metronidazole or tindozole are necessary for treating giardia, longevity products can support the recovery process by enhancing immune function, reducing inflammation, promoting digestive health. These supplements help your body heal faster and maintain overall wellness during and after a parasitic infection. And of course, please consult your longevity distributor for that purpose. Well, the next thing we want to cover here is roundworms, and let's go ahead and bring the picture up of that.
See if I can find it, Doc. Let's see.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take the second picture there, showing the intestines and the another. Yeah, this is where the parasites lodge into. Now the next one will be roundworms here.
Gotcha.
Okay, let's see here.
Everybody, if you like this, what you see, like and share and follow. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, that's it. How do you like that? How'd you like to have something like that in you?
No.
Well, most of you, if you've had pets or been around pets, you've got those in you. Okay? It's transmitted by soil or contaminated food, and it can cause abdominal discomfort. Let's see here. Okay, here roundworms, also known as Ascaris lumbricoides, are parasitic worms that infect the human intestines. They are one of the most common intestinal parasites in the world, especially in regions with poor sanitation. Roundworms can grow up to 14 inches long in length and live for up to 2 years inside the human body. While many people infected with roundworms may not experience symptoms, heavy infestations can lead to significant health issues, including malnutrition, abdominal pain, and potentially life-threatening complications. Okay, and it begins with eggs in the feces. The life cycle begins when adult female roundworms in the human intestines release thousands of eggs, which are passed in the feces. These eggs are deposited in the environment, particularly in the soil, where they can survive for weeks to months, depending on the environmental condition. Ingestion of eggs. Humans become infected when they ingest the eggs, typically through contaminated food, water, or hands. Poor hygiene practices, such as not washing hands after using the toilet or handling contaminated soil, are common routes of infection. Hatching of larvae in the small intestine. Once ingested, the eggs hatch into the larvae in the small intestine. The larvae burrow through the intestinal wall and enter into the bloodstream. They migrate to the lungs. After entering the bloodstream, the larvae travel to the lungs. From the lungs, they migrate up the airways and are coughed up and swallowed again and return to the small intestine. So when you cough, spit it out. Do not swallow when you have to cough. Okay, because you can get rid of half the life cycle of roundworms if you don't swallow what you cough up. The newly introduced eggs are released to the feces of the infected host and contaminate the environment, typically the soil, where they can infect other individuals. Transmission of roundworm infection. Roundworm infections are primarily spread through fecal-oral route, which means the eggs are ingested from contaminated food, water surfaces. The primary vectors for transmission include contaminated soil, fecal-oral transmission, contaminated food and water, undercooked raw food, especially vegetables, fruits, washed with contaminated water can carry Ascaris eggs and lead to infection when ingested. Symptoms of roundworm infection. The symptoms of roundworm infection can range from mild to severe depending on the number of worms present in the body and the organs affected. Some individuals may not experience symptoms, especially in cases of light infections, while others may suffer from significant discomfort. Early symptoms. When the larvae travel through the bloodstream into the lungs, they can cause the following symptoms: coughing and wheezing, shortness of breath, chest pain or tightness, fever, and fatigue. In the intestinal phase, the adult worms in the small intestine, once the larvae mature into adult worms in the small intestine, symptoms may include abdominal pain or discomfort, nausea and vomiting, loss of appetite, diarrhea or constipation, visible worms in the stool. In severe cases, worms may be visible in the stool, bloating or feeling full. Severe symptoms, heavy infestations. In case of heavy infection, where a large number of worms are present, more severe symptoms and complications may occur. Intestinal obstruction. Worms can block the intestines, causing severe abdominal pain, bloating, vomiting, and constipation. Peritonitis. In rare cases, worms can cause a rupture in the intestines, leading to a life-threatening infection of the abdominal cavity. Malnutrition. Heavy infestations can lead to malabsorption of nutrients, which causes weight loss, fatigue, and stunted growth. Extraintestinal symptoms. Rare. In some cases, worms can migrate to other organs, such as the liver, lungs, or brain, causing additional health problems. Diagnosing a roundworm infection typically involves laboratory tests such as stool sample, blood tests, imaging tests. In severe cases, imaging tests such as x-rays, CAT scan, ultrasounds may be used to visualize the worms or any complications like intestinal blockages. Treatment of roundworm infection. Roundworm infections are treatable with certain medications which kill the worms and help eliminate them from the body. I'm not going to go into all those. Surgery in severe cases.
Yeah, just pick and choose, Doc.
What?
Just pick and choose.
I still didn't hear you.
Pick and choose.
Okay, here's the longevity approach to roundworms. Of course, you want to be on the 90 essential nutrients, 60 essential minerals, 12 amino acids, 16 vitamins, 3 essential fatty acids, and then you want to have the fucoid Z or the fucoidin, which is with a Z radical, Ultimate Flora FX, and the essential fatty acids. Okay, and the sweeties to help with the blood sugar, herbal protocols and essential oils, black walnut hulls. It contains jugulone compound that is toxic to parasites like roundworms. And these black walnuts in the green, the green hull that's around a black walnut, that is you can get that in a tincture or capsule form as part of a cleansing protocol. Wormwood is known for its ability to expel parasites from the digestive system. It has been used for centuries in traditional medicine to treat intestinal worms. Cloves and garlic. Essential oils, oregano oil, Oregano essential oil is one of Longevity's oils. It has powerful antimicrobial and antifungal properties, which can support the body's ability to combat parasite infections. You dilute it with a carrier oil and put it on the abdomen or the bottom of your feet. Tea tree oil also is one of the oils recommended. Cinnamon oil. Cinnamon is a very hot oil, but it can help with the protocol. Let's see here. It says to start with a foundational supplement with they have to have the base of the 90 essential nutrients, 60 essential amino acids, 16 vitamins, 12 essential amino acids, and 3 essential fatty acids. Take the Ultimate 4FX, the Fucoid Z, the Nature's Field Omega, the Ultimate Classic, the Ultimate 3 essential fatty acids, and use the Ultimate Cleanse and herbal and essential oils. The conclusion: while prescribed medications such as albendazole and pyrantel palmitate are essential for treating roundworm infections, longevity products and natural herbal protocols can play a key role in supporting the body's recovery process. They help boost the immune function, reduce inflammation, restore gut health, promote overall wellness during and after the infection. Always consult with your longevity distributor who has been educated to be able to counteract these things. So, and so forth. So the next one is trichinosis. Now, trichinosis is very heavily invested in, you're basically things like pork and bear meat and wild hog. Rats are very heavily infested with trichinosis. They have done from what I understand, they did a study on, let's see here, let's bring up the trichinosis cycle here. Okay, can you see it down there?
Which one is it, though?
Yeah, after the tapeworm ones. We'll do the tapeworm next. Okay.
Here?
Yeah, there you go. You notice there's a spore stage. Now, Loma Linda University did a study on trichinosis. They took pork and put it in an autoclave at, I think, 3,000 degrees, and it would not kill the trichinosis. So the idea of being able to cook pork at any temperature and be able to kill the trichinosis is not supported. That's why the Bible says not to eat it. Okay. They did a test they did an autopsy report on a comparison between the average individual and very strict Orthodox Jews in New York. They studied their diaphragms on death, found that the Orthodox Jews had almost no trichinosis in them, but the average person was just filled with trichinosis. So when you're eating pork, you basically are consuming these parasites, and you just can't get rid of them. Trichinosis, once you're infected with it, it's just practically impossible to get rid of. And they go into your brain, they go into your liver, they go into your kidneys, they go into lungs, and there are many, many, many infections that you can get from trichinosis. All throughout the body. I remember when I was a kid, I went to a country school, and we were all pretty much vegetarian when I was a kid, and so we didn't ever eat pork and things like that. And I remember the kids in the school, except me, were always sick. Always. They would come in, they'd be sick for 4 or 5 days. And I would get the flu and I'd get over it in a day. But I believe that a lot of because they were heavy pork eaters, in the farms, here in Iowa where I grew up, they were heavy pork eaters, very heavy pork eaters. And I think even Chance has kind of given up eating pork, basically because of the idea of trichinosis infection. So the importance is to follow Leviticus 11. If you follow Leviticus 11, you will eliminate the most toxic meats in the whole menu. I mean, the worst being vulture. There was a list of the toxicity of different animals, and pork is one of the worst. But vulture is absolutely at the top of the list for having toxins. So you don't want to eat vulture or crow or anything like that. So, okay, the next one here, let's see here. Let's see, did I go through all that? Yeah, trichinosis is known as trichinosis, a parasitic infection caused by roundworm Trichinella spiralis. It is typically contracted by eating undercooked or raw meat from infected animals, particularly pork, wild game such as bear, wild boar, and deer, and sometimes horse meat. The infection is less common in developed countries due to improved meat inspection and cooking practices, but it remains a concern with areas with inadequate food safety measures. The parasite infects the intestines, but its larvae can migrate to the muscles, causing various symptoms ranging from mild digestive discomfort to severe muscle pain, neurological issues, in rare cases, life-threatening complications. The life cycle of Trichinella spiralis involves intermediate hosts such as pigs or wild animals and the definitive host, humans. Eggs and feces. Adult Trichinella worms live in the intestines of their definitive host, typically carnivorous or omnivorous animals, including humans. These worms release larvae, which are passed out of the host's feces. Ingestion by intermediate host, pigs, wild animals, and animals become infected by ingesting the larvae, which are often found in carcasses or food contaminated with the parasite. The larvae burrow through the animal's intestines and migrate to the muscle tissues. Cyst formation in muscle tissue. In the muscle tissue of the intermediate hosts, such as pigs or wild animals, the larvae insist, forming cysts that are infective to humans. Human infection, ingestion of cyst-containing meat. Humans become infected by eating undercooked or raw meat containing these cysts. When ingested, the cysts release larvae in the human intestine, which then mature into adult worms. Or, stop and think about it. Cooking surfaces that have had pork cooked on it are subject to spreading that infection. Larvae migrate to muscles. After maturing them in the intestines, the larvae migrate to and through the bloodstream, the various tissues, including muscles, where they insist and continue the life cycle. Reproduction and egg release. In the human intestine, the worms produce larvae, which then circulate through the body and insist in muscles, completing the cycle. However, no new eggs are released into the environment from humans. Transmission of trichinosis. The primary mode of transmission is through the consumption of undercooked meat, especially pork or wild game that is infected with Trichinella spiralis. The key transmission vectors include undercooked or raw meat. The most common source of human infection is undercooked pork, wild game meat, or occasionally horse meat, which contain larvae encysted in the muscle tissue. Person-to-person transmission. Trichinosis is not spread from person to person. The infection can only be acquired by consuming contaminated meat. So that's a good reason not to be a cannibal, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
The symptom of trichinosis can range from mild to severe, depending on the intensity of the infection and number of cysts consumed. Initial stage. After larvae are ingested, they mature in the intestine and can stage typically last between 1 to 2 weeks. Symptoms during this phase may include abdominal pain, nausea and vomiting, diarrhea or constipation, fatigue or weakness. Muscle stage. After larvae migration, most characteristic symptoms occur after the larvae migrate to the muscles. This stage can last for weeks to months with symptoms such as muscle pain and swelling. The larvae insist in muscle tissues, causing inflammation and pain. Fever, mild to moderate fever is common. Facial swelling, especially around the eyes, is characteristic in many cases. Headache and dizziness, rash or itching. Some individuals may develop a rash or hives. Severe symptoms, heavy infestation. In severe cases, particularly with large infestations, when the larvae affect vital organs such as the heart or brain, complications may include myocarditis, inflammation of the heart muscle, which can lead to arrhythmias and heart failure. Neurological symptoms, if larvae migrate to the brain, symptoms may include confusion, seizures, or even coma. Respiratory distress. Larvae can affect the muscles responsible for breathing, leading to respiratory difficulties. Chronic symptoms, long-term. In severe cases, if left untreated, trichinosis can cause long-term muscle weakness, heart problems, neurological issues. Chronic infection can also lead to persistent fatigue or digestive issues. So those of you out there that are having lots of fatigue may be, in fact, infected with trichinosis. Trichinosis is diagnosed using a combination of medical history, symptoms, and laboratory tests. Blood tests. Elevated eosinophils, type of white blood cell, are often seen in parasitic infections like trichinosis. Antibody tests. Blood tests can detect antibodies against Trichinella larvae, helping to confirm an infection. Muscle biopsy. In some cases, a biopsy of muscle tissue may be performed to identify Trichinella cysts. Polymerase chain reaction, PCR, can detect Trichinella DNA in blood or muscle samples, providing a more definitive diagnosis. Treatment for trichinosis typically involves a combination of medications to kill the parasites and support the body during recovery. They can even put corticosteroids such as prednisone, pain relief, NSAIDs, which I don't ever recommend, supportive care. Now, here's the recommendations. Cook your meat thoroughly. If you're going to eat pork, cook it thoroughly. Freeze the meat for 3 weeks. Can kill Trichinella larvae for safer consumption. I doubt that, but that's what that's the recommendation. Good hygiene. Not only washing your hands thoroughly after handling raw meat or using the bathroom, ensure proper disposal of human and animal waste to prevent contamination of food and water. Avoid consumption of raw or undercooked meat. Clean all your surfaces, that you cook on or prepare meat on. Avoid eating raw or undercooked pork or wild game or meat, as it can be contaminated with Trichinella cysts. Check your meat source. Ensure that meat is from animals, especially wild game, sourced from reputable suppliers who follow proper food safety protocols. I doubt that you can do that with wild game because you're going to shoot it yourself. Trichinosis is a preventable and treatable infection caused by the roundworm Trichinella spiralis. While the infection can cause a range of symptoms from mild gastrointestinal discomfort to severe muscle pain, neurological complication, early diagnosis and treatment with antithalamic medications can effectively manage the infection. Practicing good hygiene, proper meat cooking, and food safety measures and with the infection. And of course, with longevity, if you're going to handle things with longevity, you take the 90 essential nutrients, 60 essential minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 essential amino acid, and 3 essential fatty acids. You want to take the fucoid Z or Z radical to make sure that you have the fucoidin working for you in your behalf. You also want to have the sweeties to maintain your blood sugar levels and so forth. So, okay, do you have an illustration of the pinworms up there, Doc?
Pinworm. Let me see if we can find one. I see hookworms.
Yeah, that's the pinworm is right after the hookworm.
That must be this one here then.
There you go. Pinworms. Pinworms, scientifically known as Enterobius vermicularis, are small white parasitic worms that live in the intestines, especially the colon and rectum of humans. Pinworm infections, probably the most common in children, but adults can become affected also. These worms are highly contagious. They spread easily through fecal-oral route, ingestion of eggs from contaminated surfaces or food. Pinworms are the most common type of intestinal parasite infection in the United States and many parts of the world. The life cycle of pinworms. Eggs in the feces. The life cycle begins when the adult female pinworms in the intestines lay eggs around the anus, usually at night. They come out and they will actually lay their eggs. And my parents were very, very vigilant about pinworms. They would inspect our rectum, our anus at night when we were kids. They would sneak in the middle of the night and they would see if worms were actually coming out of our anus. And my mother would give us worm medicine. She would make us take our underwear off in the bathtub, but she would take it straight in and wash it. She was very, very persistent in taking care of making sure that we were had pinworm detox. She put us through the protocols. It would cause the ingestion of eggs. The pinworm eggs can survive for several hours on contaminated surfaces such as bed linens, towels, and doorknobs. They are transferred to food or objects that individuals come in contact with. Humans become infected when they accidentally ingest eggs, usually through poor hygiene, not washing hands, after scratching around the anal area. Hatching of eggs in the small intestines. Once ingested, the eggs hatch in the small intestine. The larvae move into the colon and rectum where they mature into adult pinworms. Mating and egg laying. The adult female pinworms move to the anus to lay their eggs, completing the cycle. The eggs hatch and the larvae continue to grow and migrate back to the intestines. Pinworms may live in the intestines for 1 to 2 months, during which time they continuously lay eggs and spread the infection. Reinfection and spread. Pinworms are highly contagious and can be spread through contaminated hands, bedding, or clothing. When an infected person scratches their anus, the eggs can be transferred to their hands, clothing, or other surfaces. When individuals touch these surfaces, they can inadvertently ingest the eggs, leading to reinfection. Transmission of pinworm infection. Pinworm infections are highly contagious and spread through the fecal-oral route. This can occur when someone touches the contaminated surface, scratches the anus, ingests the contaminated food or water, and have direct person-to-person contact, like shaking hands or something else like that. Okay. Here's the symptoms: itching around the anus. And let me tell you something. This is a longevity product called Trinity Lotion. Can you see it here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Trinity Lotion. This can be used for any itching on any part of your body. Usually those itching, the type where you scratch and gets worse, it just seems to, just persist and you scratch and finally you draw blood, because it's so itchy. This will stop that. This is Trinity Lotion. Trinity Lotion has antibiotic or immune support in it. And if let's say that you have this itching of the anus, you put a little of this on your tissue paper and then you wipe yourself and it'll stop that itching. I don't know if it kills the eggs, but I think it does, because I have seen this totally counteract a spider bite. I remember one individual that I was dealing with had just been bitten by a spider, and the thing was just really swelling up, and she was crying about this. And I put some of that Trinity Lotion on a tissue and just wiped the spider bite, and it just took that itch away. That terrible swelling went away within an hour. It was all gone. And I have noticed that whenever I have something really itchy, it's usually parasites. I think that this counteracts the parasites. Because have you ever noticed that you get something itchy, and sometimes you scratch the daylights out of it, and it will transfer to a different part of your body and itch? You ever notice that? That's parasites transmitting themselves through the bloodstream to a different part of your body. You say, oh, if we're going to get mechanically disturbed like this so we can't munch on your tissues, we'll go someplace else. And they start chewing on that. Well, this puts a stop to it. So it's one of the best. This stuff lasts and lasts and lasts. One of these little bottles, I've had this for years practically. I mean, I bought 4 of them on special in longevity, and I have used them all up except this one, but it seems to last forever. But it's really a product that I highly rate, as one of the best products there is, So anyway, the next thing on our list here, let's see here. I wanted to cover, let's go through tapeworms.
Tapeworms, where are we there? Let's see how I got them right there. Okay.
Yeah. These are flat segmented parasitic worms belonging to the Trichinidae family. They can live up to in the intestine, both humans and animals, and can grow to considerable lengths up to 33 feet long in some cases. The most common species that infect humans are Taenia solium, pork tapeworm, and Taenia saginata, beef tapeworm, and there's even a fish tapeworm. I forget what it's called. And they are often asymptomatic, but in some cases they can cause significant health issues. The infection is usually contracted by consuming undercooked or contaminated meat from infected animals. The parasite attaches to the intestinal wall where it matures into an adult tapeworm, producing eggs that are shed into the environment through the host's feces. Tapeworms can also cause severe complications like cystinosis, especially with Taenia solium, if the larvae migrate to other parts of the body. The life cycle of a tapeworm involves both intermediate hosts such as pigs and cattle and a definitive host like humans. Eggs in the feces. The life cycle begins with the adult tapeworms and the human small intestine released eggs into the feces. These eggs can contaminate water, food, or soil, posing a risk to other individuals. Now, in the old days, they used to actually advertise tapeworms, the head of a tapeworm. They would sell them, pretty good sized ones, and you would swallow them if you wanted to lose weight, because the idea would be that they would attach to your intestinal wall and eat up all the food that if you're eating excessively, it would take that nutrition themselves and cause you to lose weight. Well, that was kind of a stupid idea, so I wouldn't want to do it. Pigs or cattle become infected when they ingest tapeworm eggs that are deposited in the environment. The eggs attach to the larvae, oncospheres, and travel through the bloodstream, lodging in the muscles where they form cysticerci larval cysts. Infection of humans through contaminated meat. Humans can become infected by consuming undercooked pork or beef that contains cysts of the tapeworm. Once ingested, the cysts are digested in the human small intestine, releasing the larvae, which are then attached to the intestinal wall. The larvae mature into adult tapeworms in the small intestine, attaching to the wall using their scolex head. If you take a look, you have a picture of the head there?
Let me see if I got one, Doc. Hold on.
Right there, right next to the pinworm. There we go. That's what the head of a tapeworm looks like.
Yeah.
How do you like that?
Yeah. Like a monster.
On your innards there. Okay. The larvae mature into adult tapeworms in the small intestine, attaching to the wall using the scolex head that has hooks and suckers. The adult tapeworm can grow up to several meters in length and produces proglottids, segments containing eggs, which are then expelled through the host feces. The proglottids containing eggs are released from the tapeworm and pass out of the human intestine and the feces. The eggs are now capable of infecting other pigs or cattle, restarting the life cycle. Transmission of tapeworm infection. The primary mode of transmission for a tapeworm infection is the ingestion of contaminated meat, particularly undercooked pork or beef. Undercooked meat. The most common route of transmission for humans is through the consumption of undercooked raw pork or beef that contains cysticerci larvae. Fecal oral transmission. Tapeworm eggs in human feces can contaminate the environment, particularly in an area of poor sanitation, contaminated water, food, or surfaces can transmit the infection to humans ingest the tapeworm eggs. Cysticercosis, in the case of Taenium solium, the pork tapeworm, can lead to cysticercosis, a condition in which the larvae migrate to other tissues in the body, such as the brain, neurocysticercosis, muscles, or eyes. This occurs when humans ingest Taenia solium eggs, which are typically spread via contaminated food or pork or hygiene. And the symptoms can include abdominal pain, nausea or vomiting or diarrhea, loss of appetite, unexplained weight loss, visible proclatas, muscles, eye cysts. These floaters in your vision can be tapeworms. Case of a heavy infestation when the cysts are present in critical organs such as the brain or heart. Complications like the intestinal obstruction, cyst rupture, and peritonitis can occur. Diagnosis is through blood sample, stool sample, imaging, endoscopy, or colonoscopy. Treatment of tapeworm, of course, is there's several different things, including surgery. You want to cook your meat freely to avoid it. Freeze your meat for at least 3 weeks. Wash hands and surfaces. Avoid raw meat. Tapeworm infections caused by pork tapeworm and beef tapeworm are treatable with medications and good hygiene practices. Proper meat handling, cooking techniques are key to preventing infection. If you have concerns about tapeworm infection, consult your longevity distributor. Let me know if you'd like to have more information on longevity products that can help support the immune system during recovery from a tapeworm infection. So with that, do you have any thoughts about this, Doc?
Well, there's a question first from River Life. He says, "Hey, Doc, what say you about using manure from cows, horses, chickens to use as fertilizer and planting soil?" Everybody does it. So
yeah, everybody does it. Yeah, it can be. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're talking about going straight from. I mean, you don't want to eat that fertilizer because that will definitely infect you with this kind of stuff. So just take a good look at this guy. Doesn't he look prehistoric? Look at those things that can attach to your colon and the sucker there and so forth. And they just love to suck your blood. That's just exactly what they'll do. And if you notice, the symptoms are very similar with all these. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you practice. The biggest thing is practicing good hygiene, understanding the symptoms. If you have an itchy anus, get yourself some of this stuff.
Trinity, okay. It's called Trinity, right there.
Trinity lotion, yeah. Trinity lotion.
And what is the ingredients in it? What's the ingredients in it?
Yeah, it's let's see here. I think it's with Restart, and I think Restart Your Life is what the name of the company in Longevity. It's a Longevity company subsidiary, and you just order it. I would order 4 at a time. I mean, this stuff. I mean, you should have one in every bathroom, and every bedroom should have it, because I mean, you'll have. How many times have you had itchy skin where you just think, oh man, I just can't get this itch to stop, like on your ankles or things like that? That's usually parasites, believe it or not. And sometimes it really bothers you if you get on the soles of your feet, because I mean, but I'll tell you what, this will stop it. It'll stop the itch, and it for some reason, the parasites that are gnawing on you will stop. I discovered this stuff, and I just can't. I wouldn't want to be without it. I would not want to be without it. So Of course, I wouldn't want to be. I just got my order from Longevity the other day, and I was out. I actually thought I had another bottle, and I was, I had some pill form and things like that. Nothing is like the just having the vitamin supplement, the in liquid. I went back to the Ultimate Classic, and I feel so much better. I mean, I was using Tangy Tangerine. Tangy Tangerine's fine, but Ultimate Classic is just a little bit stronger, and I just feel so much better with it. I'm just glad I got my order. And when you keep your immune system up, your body can fight these things. But you should go on a fast and cleanse twice a year, because otherwise, I mean, these guys are getting your supplements, rather than you. And if you're not supplementing yourself, they're robbing you of vital nutrients and so forth while you're infected with them. So it's really, really important to eliminate these guys from your life if you can. So do you have any final thoughts, Doc?
Well, I know the parasite issue is a real big thing with people, and of course with everybody, because everybody's really got them in them. They just don't realize it. My question is more of a comment. When I see people with like little things in their eyelids, they're like little veins. That's parasite, people. When you see things on the skin that look like little worms, that's parasites. So what Doc's saying is, you take that topical lotion, you spread it on there,
put the lotion on it,
and don't move to another location, and you'll maybe get rid of them.
Well, I don't know what you're referring to, but I know when you have a real itchy surface, this will knock it.
Yeah. I had one the other day. It was horrible. It was very bad.
Did you?
Yeah,
well,
you're
going to have to order some Trichinosis lotion then, aren't you?
As soon as I get paid, I'm going to order that, add it to my longevity order, what I've got going on.
Yeah. Well, this will last for months. You don't have to order it all the time. I mean, it's like a one-time order, and it just lasts and lasts. I just use a little bit at a time. I mean, just like, for instance, if let's say that my neck was itching right here, I just put a little bit on here, just like that. That's what it looks like. I just rub it on there, and oh yeah, that feels so much better. And within seconds, it stops.
Well, I had a question, Doc, real quick. My wife's got a question. I got a question. Then we got to go in a couple minutes. What does longevity have for, say, rebuilding the teeth?
Well, that would be a calcium issue, and that would be with your whole protocol with bone and joint. Believe it or not, because the socket of your tooth is a joint. Believe it or not, and requires the same maintenance as your elbow and your knee and your hip. It's a joint, because your teeth flex in there. Now, when you lose a tooth and have an implant is not a joint. It's a screw in the bone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's never the same as a tooth. And, your teeth have nerves in them. So your teeth are actually living bone. They're actually harder than bone, but they require the same nutrients as bone, or they will rot. In other words, you need to have the same 90 essential nutrients, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids, and you want to have the OsteoFX or the Cal-Toddy. If you're taking Ultimate Classic, the OsteoFX is enough to make up for that, because you get calcium in the Ultimate Classic, and if you add just one bottle of the OsteoFX, that's enough. Or if you're on the Tangy Tangerine, then you want to switch to the Cal-Toddy. Cal-Toddy is a little stronger than the OsteoFX. If you have osteoporosis, I would recommend to have the Cal-Toddy along with the Ultimate Classic, because that you're getting the best of both worlds here. You're getting lots and lots of there's lots of calcium and magnesium. And understand this, when you do that and you get extra magnesium, you're going to have loose stools because that magnesium is going to make the bowel move. Now, a lot of people have constipation, so and I think a lot of that constipation has to do with parasites. So you're essentially, now here's another thing, that it wasn't mentioned tonight. And that's the herbal rainforest. That's a form of cleanse. It's actually a form of minerals that has some extra herbs in it that will actually bring about a liver cleanse when you start. And it's a good way to start with longevity is to get on the herbal rainforest. It's a much gentler, a very gentle cleanse, but it's very effective cleanse. The site to find the products. What you want to go to is to go to getdocsminerals.com, and you're going to want to put your information in there. And then what you do is watch that video and then go to Dr. Wallach and watch the introductory videos. Okay. And then you can call me. There's a phone number on there, 406-270-3754. That's 406-270-3754. And I would be glad to talk to you, help you through the health questionnaire. Health questionnaire will help you target exactly what your body's needs are. Very, very important. And by the way, Doc, I got to tell you, I have found a practice for sale.
You told me that's good.
Yeah. Pardon?
I say that's good.
Yeah, I'm thinking about buying it, getting back into practice, and then I can incorporate the longevity into the whole protocols. It's actually a chiropractic center and a spa, and so the guy will finance it. And it's going to be very close to my children and grandchildren, so I'm thinking very much of getting that practice and going back in practice. So keep your prayers with me. Hopefully things can work out so I can take it over.
Yeah. And I want to thank everybody for being here tonight too. Thank you, Nikki Love and River Life and Sonny Dom and Sal Sercia, my good friend, the mayor of rock and roll, and everybody else out there watching. We want to wish you a great week. Stay cool if you're hot. Stay cool if you're just hot and warm. It's really been tough out there. So thanks, Doc, for being here tonight. Of course, we're usually on Monday nights at 9 o'clock. We had a break tonight, so I gave Doc this time because we had a problem with the server on Monday. See us next Monday night at 9 o'clock when we do the Wellness Revolution. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and please check us out on YouTube under Hamilton Radio 1. Check Doc out through healthreform90@gmail.com or his phone number 406-270-3754 or getdocsminerals.com. Have a great night, guys. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, I was going to say one more thing here. If you like content here, please hit that like button and subscribe to it and share this with your friends. Share it far and wide. Thank you very much.
Please like, share, and follow, and also like and share and follow us and Hamilton Radio. Thank you, guys.